Ripple ultimately won the court fight against the SEC unexpectedly, which is the greatest bullish indicator of all time. We have been waiting for this day for many years, and analysts think that throughout this period, XRP for a while, Ripple, has been getting stronger, but how much more can our favorite cryptocurrency grow? Experts estimate that it will reach $280 and even higher, which is quite awesome, right? Don't miss a moment of this video as I go over everything in detail, including a disclaimer. After almost 6 years of court fights, Ripple has finally prevailed against the SEC in a lawsuit that had long threatened XRP's survival. This is a historic moment for the cryptocurrency sector, according to the CEO of Ripple. We can now announce the SEC is no longer pursuing the appeal in the Ripple case. The significance of this occasion cannot be emphasized, as the SEC launched its complaint against Ripple in December 2020, claiming that XRP was an unregistered security. "Congratulations, XRP holders," Jack the Rippler tweeted. The lawsuit turned into a pivotal battle for crypto regulation, as the price of XRP plummeted overnight, causing significant losses for numerous investors. Some, such as Ido Farina, brought attention to the terrible effects of XRP, saying that investors are writing to the SEC to say that the SEC has destroyed lives and that many people have lost their life savings on the same day that the SEC sued. Ripple, crashing XRP. Now that the SEC has withdrawn its appeal, the victory is that XRP is not a security, and that the legal haze that had surrounded Ripple for years has finally lifted. People were saying that when the XRP lawsuit is finished, that's when we'll begin pumping hard. So the XRP lawsuit is being over-tweeted by a random crypto friend, echoing the sentiment of many in the community. However, Ripple's success wasn't limited to one company. Rather, it was a fight for the entire crypto industry. Regulatory clarity has been a major issue, and Ripple's case has now set a precedent that could affect how digital assets are classified under U.S. law. Former Commodity Futures Trading Commission Chairman John Carlo, often known as Crypto Dad. In 2020, before the lawsuit even started, John Carlo co-authored a white paper with commodities lawyer Conrad Balke, arguing that XRP should not be classified as a security. At the time, his opinions were rejected, with critics citing his advisory relationship with Ripple. Years later, however, John Carlo's position has been confirmed, and Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, acknowledged his early support. "You were wise and courageous enough to call it as you saw it 5 years ago, when many were cheering us on. Even those who stood by decided to do it in silence. Thank you," you said. The Alder being correct isn't the only reason for this success. It is changing the way regulators see cryptocurrency. The SEC's defeat in this lawsuit suggests that future regulations of digital assets may change, potentially resulting in more XRP-friendly regulations. Now that the legal obstacle has been removed, institutional investors and exchanges that were cautious because of regulatory uncertainty may show increased interest in the cryptocurrency. The litigation had been a burden that reduced its price and adoption. The success of Ripple may also affect how authorities handle other cryptocurrencies. The XRP community has every reason to rejoice that the dark cloud of the SEC lawsuit has passed and that a new chapter for Ripple cryptocurrency as a whole has begun. However, it's getting even more bizarre with the lawsuit finally over. The SEC's aggressive stance on digital assets has been widely criticized, with many arguing that its enforcement-first approach has done more harm than good. With this case resolved, there is hope that regulators will adopt clearer, fairer guidelines for the crypto industry, instead of relying on legal battles to set policy. Crypto analyst Dark Defender has outlined a scenario that could send XRP soaring to $280, an astronomical 11,000% increase from its current price levels. It may seem crazy, but there is actual historical data to support this audacious claim. XRP is free to soar, but logically, the price should skyrocket, right? Well, not so quickly. Some experts are making shocking predictions, some bullish, some unexpected. Trust me, you don't want to miss this, because what they're saying could change everything. Reflecting on the past, the current cycle has lasted even longer, 51 months as opposed to 21,742 months last time. But there is one significant difference. Trading volume is off the charts. In the previous breakout, XRP had an accumulated trading volume of over 28 million, this time nearly 111 billion, a nearly four-fold increase. This is a huge indication that the market is ready for something big. And it's not just Dark Defender calling for a surge. XRP followed a similar pattern between 2014 and 2017 years of consolidation before a parabolic breakout that saw it peak at nearly $4 in early 2018. In a tweet, King Koran stated, "We will be XRP millionaires in 2025. XRP believers are doubling down. When XRP finally moves, according to XRP Avengers, it won't be influenced by news or trading orders. Instead, it will just soar by 3,500%. Steph predicts a more cautious but nonetheless remarkable future, claiming that XRP will reach $30 and that the XRP chancellor won't hold back. The Ripple case is finally done, so get ready for a huge spike. $100 per token. Thus is it possible that XRP will reach 280. Although it's a lofty goal, cryptocurrency has witnessed more bizarre events, regardless of whether you believe in $30, $100, or even $280. There is no doubt that XRP's biggest move may still come, and we cannot overlook the most recent XRP Ripple partnerships. I promise you that this is a bullish signal that you cannot afford to ignore. These partnerships may be one of the main factors propelling XRP's price to previously unheard-of heights. So let's take a closer look at what's actually going on behind the scenes. XRP's increasing adoption isn't just about finance anymore. It's also making waves in the healthcare sector. More than just a legal victory, healthcare has formally obtained trademark protection in all 27 EU countries, taking a daring step toward incorporating blockchain into medical transactions. This calculated action places XRP Healthcare at the forefront of transforming healthcare payments and data management globally. Healthcare is not an exception to how blockchain technology is revolutionizing industries by providing safe, effective, and transparent solutions. XRP Healthcare is at the forefront of this trend. Medical transactions using blockchain technology could do away with inefficiencies, minimize fraud, and simplify the handling of patient data. Imagine a world in which prescriptions are instantaneously validated, medical records are safely maintained on the blockchain, and cross-border healthcare payments are handled with ease. That is becoming a reality thanks to healthcare. This is not merely a localized change. XRP. The goals of HealthCare are not limited to Europe. The company's recent acquisition of Pharm, a significant pharmacy chain in Uganda, marks its debut into the African healthcare sector. This development is crucial because developing nations struggle with the pricing of medical care and the transparency of blockchain-powered transactions for payments. A safe and effective system that guarantees quicker claim processing, fraud protection, and direct payments between patients and providers might be implemented by XRP Healthcare. As more businesses and organizations realize how powerful XRP's infrastructure is for quick and inexpensive transactions, the global drive for blockchain adoption in sectors like healthcare is a huge bullish signal for XRP's long-term worth. As blockchain adoption speeds up across finance, healthcare, and international transactions, demand for the token could soar. Additionally, regulatory clarity is improving, meaning institutional investors may soon enter the market at scale, further driving adoption. XRP Healthcare is leading innovation in a trillion-dollar industry, which could be one of the biggest catalysts for XRP's price explosion. XRP is establishing itself as a major force in the future of the digital economy. may now be the time that it breaks free and soars to new heights? Despite a 20% drop in XRP's price over the last 2 months, there is a growing sense of optimism in the market, especially among large-scale investors. As the price dips, whales are diving deeper, accumulating more of the asset, and signaling their confidence in XRP's future potential. Of course, we can't forget about the whales, who are making some serious moves behind the scenes, and not enough. People are noticing. This could be one of the biggest bullish signals that could shake up the market. But let's take a look at how this affects XRP's price. This whale activity, especially when XRP's price is temporarily declining, shows that these major players aren't only interested in short-term gains, but are also considering the larger long-term picture. The sustained accumulation from these whales could be a sign of a significant price surge. According to recent data from Sentiment, wallets holding at least 1 million XRP have increased their holdings by 6.5%, totaling an astounding 46 billion XRP, worth 114 billion. Historically, a market rally is preceded by large-scale buying during price falls, and XRP appears set to follow this pattern. According to the most recent reports, a rise in network activity also coincides with an increase in whale holdings. Even while the price of XRP is still below its historical highs, the number of unique wallets interacting with it has increased sixfold in March, suggesting that interest and involvement in the ecosystem are increasing. However, the decline in the price of XRP can be interpreted as a chance for these whales to accumulate additional tokens at a reduced cost. With so many tokens being snatched up, it's evident that these major investors have faith in XRP's future trajectory. This tactic has been a recurring trend in the cryptocurrency market. When whales sense a downturn, they see a purchasing opportunity. Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently stoked further optimism by suggesting that XRP could become a key component of the U.S. Strategic Digital Asset Reserve. His statement only adds to the growing speculation that XRP's role could expand beyond just a cryptocurrency into more integral part of the global financial system. The thought of XRP being included in such a strategic reserve would elevate its status and serve as a catalyst for even more institutional adoption. As these whales continue to accumulate XRP, and as network activity continues to rise, the question on everyone's mind is whether this growing investor confidence will eventually translate into a major bullish breakout, with all the signs pointing toward increasing institutional interest and a potential resurgence of the XRP price. The market seems to be at a tipping point. All eyes are now on whether this accumulation phase will lead to a rally that could drive the price of XRP to new heights in the coming months. Whales are not just watching from the sidelines. They're actively positioning themselves for what could be the next big XRP rally.